So guys, welcome back to the channel. We are back yet again for another strongman related video, and this time we're going to be talking about Eisenhart. So Eisenhart was the deadlift world championship that took place in Germany somewhere. I forget the exact location. I did check it. It's not actually called Eisenhart, unfortunately. It's not that simple. But it was called the Eisenhart Black Competition. And two athletes that I'm aware of that competed there are none other than Hafthor Bjornsson and Hjalmar, his close friend who trains with him in Iceland. Now, Hjalmar went out there and his goal was to get 401 kilos to be, I believe, the second strongest person training in Thor's gym. Unfortunately, it didn't go to plan. And to be honest, watching his early lifts, it was looking pretty good. I think he opened with 320 kilos and that flew up. He went to about 360, 365 then. That was a bit slower and unfortunately couldn't quite get the 401. He did get it, I think he got it just about above the shins and he just couldn't quite lock it out. And now we'll be touching on this in a minute with Hafthor's lift, but they actually did that on a carpet platform, that is significantly more difficult, especially for their type of deadlifting, because most of these lifters like to roll the bar into themselves before they lift it up. When you're on carpet, if there's any rippling in the carpet whatsoever, it'll throw off that lift before they even let it leave the ground, basically. So I think that could have thrown Hjalmar off a little bit, to be honest. Plus, by the time he came out, he kind of just looked like mentally wasn't there for the lift. I think he was probably getting a bit worried and kind of overthinking it a little bit. Do I think he'd be capable of doing 401, just in his home gym or whatever? 100%. I think the occasion got to him a little bit too much. Obviously, the flooring wasn't ideal. But I think he's capable of 401. I think it was more just kind of like the setup just threw him off a bit. So bit unfortunate for Hjalmar, but I think he can come back and do it if he wants to. Now, for the man of the hour, Hafthor Bjornsson took the deadlift world record in competition at 505 kilos. Absolutely astounding lift. Fair play to him for that. And not only for him to get the lift, but if you look at the circumstances, by the time Hafthor went out, it was about 15 to 20 minutes after his second attempt, right? So at this point, his body is starting to get probably a small bit cold. It was almost 1 a.m. local time, which is nuts. Deadlifting that kind of weight at that hour of night is nuts, right? And the thing with the carpet that we were on about, if you look at Thor's style of deadlifting, right? Historically, he's always done a little bit of a rollout where he pulls the bar into himself from about a foot away from his body, and that kind of allows him to engage his lats and pull from a good position. He wasn't able to do that this time. I think he actually tried that on his first attempt at the 430, and 430, even though it went up pretty fast, went up slower than what we would have expected. And then by the time he went for his second lift, which I believe was 470 or 475, not 100% sure, that looked a bit better, because he stopped the rolling in part and kind of just went straight up. For his 505 then, he basically did the same technique, got it up, and now this is where critics will get involved in whether the lift was locked out or not. From a powerlifting standard where everything has to be absolutely 100% locked out, knees locked out, hips through, head through, all that sort of stuff, it probably would have been 2 white lights as opposed to 3 white lights, because his hips weren't fully through. Now, some things to bear in mind. Number one, this is strongman. In strongman, we care about getting the weight from point A to point B, right? Number two, he was wearing a deadlift suit, and while wearing a deadlift suit, it can be very restrictive around your waist and can make it harder to push your hips through, especially when you're holding 505 fucking kilos, okay? So, point number three, if you were to compare this to Eddie Hall's 500 kilo deadlift, you would see that they're very similar, right? I think with Eddie, when he did it, it was more of a case of his hips were true, but his knees looked a little bit soft. a little bit soft, right? Would it be to a point where, as a strongman, I'd look at that and be like, I wouldn't really count that? No, like they were both really good lifts, like which obviously required incredible amount of strengths to do. Like they were really good, solid. Like according to strongman, yes, that lift counts 100%, no denying it. Hafthor has officially broken that record in competition. There is no denying that he's the best conventional deadlifter on the planet. End of story, right? But yeah, so it was like, for him to do all that, as I was saying, like 1 a.m. on a carpet surface, like hats off to him. Like he had to change his technique on the fly for a world record attempt. Like I cannot emphasize that enough. He had to change his technique on the fly for a world record attempt and still got the lift. That is insane, absolutely insane. Now, interestingly enough, he will be going for another world record attempt on the 6th of September at the Deadlift World Champs, or the Strongman Open, okay? And yes, indeed, that is a Giants Live competition. And yes, Thor is now doing a Giants Live competition. Will he be doing multiple? We don't know. Will he be doing Worlds? At the minute, it seems doubtful, but maybe. But that's crazy. That is really crazy. And I'm so happy that he's coming back to Giants Live as well. Like, for the fans, it's huge. You know, for someone like myself who loves watching Thor and all these other, you know, great strongmen, for him to be competing against the best guys, like, let's be honest, he's going to be competing against, I believe Tom Stoutman will be there, Evan Singleton will be there, who's one to definitely watch for that, as he plans to go for his Giants Live World Record, where, so I believe at the minute, Thor holds the world record for the most Giants Live titles at 8. Evan is on 7, so if Evan beats Thor in this and takes the win, he'll be tied for him. So if Thor sticks around in Giants Live, like, that'll make for a very interesting battle in terms of titles between himself and Evan. And like, Evan's going to be gunning for that all the way, because Evan just performs really good at one-day shows, particularly Giants Live. He just seems to be switched on, ready to go, does what he needs to do, no silly mistakes, gets the job done. And he's just after coming off a win as well, so it's going to be really exciting to see the two of them go back to back. Obviously, Thor would beat him on the deadlift. I don't think anyone's going to argue that. But for the whole competition, I haven't actually checked the events yet. For the whole competition, it will be interesting to see, because as we know, Ivan is a fantastic all-round athlete. Like, he has no major weaknesses. Like, in all truth, his only weaknesses are just like psychological. Like, if he comes in and he's like, let's say, too amped up, he'll make silly mistakes. Or if he comes in and he's just kind of being really hard on himself, he makes silly mistakes and won't deliver. If Evan, similar to Tom Stoutman actually, if Evan is switched on, he is very dangerous and he doesn't have a weak event. I really can't think of a weak event he has. Some people were saying his stones were weak recently. Like, he hit his head off a platform and he's, you know, in the Strongman Classic, and, you know, his head was bleeding everywhere. Blood was getting on stones and everything. And people are kind of looking at that and like almost suggesting that, oh, well, he's bad at stones. He's not bad at stones, guys. Jesus Christ. Have you not seen this man? He's fantastic at stones. There was 1 year actually where he beat Tom Stoutman at stones, mind you. Now, Tom did fumble, which, I mean, Tom would have to fumble to, you know, make a mess of stones, because Tom is the god at stones. But like, Evan is a very solid stone lifter. So again, back to my point, he doesn't really have weaknesses. Like, he has events where he's not as good as other people, but he's still like top 3 to top 5 in like pretty much every event you throw him at, if he's in good shape. So it's going to be really exciting to see how they get on at the Giants Live Strongman Open. But back to Thor for a minute. So for his deadlift, that is now in about a month's time. Well, literally 4 weeks time from today. It's the 6th today, so 6th September. Can he do the deadlift in that time? Bearing in mind this weekend, he's also going to be doing Iceland Strongest Man. Can he do it? I think it's possible, yeah. Will it be hard to do, yes. Do I think he's more likely to do it than not? I would say yes, guys, because I mean, if you can do 505 kilos, right, on a carpet surface, which requires you to change your technique at 1 in the morning, right, you can do all that on the fly, 1 in the morning, change your technique and everything. I think he can do it. Because like when he does that, that's going to be the first event as well, which will probably start, if we're talking Giants Live, you're probably talking 5 in the evening, 5 or 6, okay? He goes out to do his 510 deadlift. I think he can do it. That's, by the way, that's the new record that they're planning to set, is 510 kilos. And there'll be a big cash prize for that as well. And of the athletes going there, I think realistically, like, Thor's the only one capable at the minute. He has Iceland's strongest man this weekend, Friday and Saturday. They have a deadlift for reps. I don't know the weight. Don't think that'll be a problem for him. I don't think that'll throw him off much. As long as he stays injury-free at Iceland's, he should be fine. Like, from my understanding, the weights at Iceland's aren't crazy anyway. In comparison, you'll probably be doing heavier stuff at most Giants Live comps. So he should be fine. I don't think that'll hinder him. It'll be more like a training session to him. So yeah, I think he can do it. I think he can do the 510 on the 6th of September. I would give him a 70-30 chance. The only reason I'd say there's a 30% chance he can do it is because it's a short time. He's gone pretty much exactly 6 weeks apart from when he did his 505. So that's a very short time to deload and to then, start lifting heavy weights again and prep and peak for another big deadlift or record deadlift essentially. So yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for him, but I think he can do it. I would actually nearly put money on him doing it. So it's gonna be exciting to see. Now, another thing to discuss is Eddie Hall. Okay, Pau Dwyer was recently in contact with Eddie Hall, asking him would he ever come back and try and beat the deadlift world record and reclaim the title, and this was his response.
Would I come back and deadlift more than 500 kilos? Hey man, if the money's right, it's possible.
So that's interesting information to me. From what I've seen of Eddie Hall recently, he very much seems to be doing things at the minute for the money. That's not to say that he doesn't love like the sports he's doing and stuff like that, but wherever the bag is, he's going, man. You know what I mean? Like, he did the fight against Marius. I'm sure there was good money out of that. He's doing the arm wrestling now, which I'm sure there'll probably be decent money out of that as well. The strongest man on earth. Well, technically that'll be the strongest arm on earth. He'll be doing against Robert Oberst. But yeah, so I think, if the money's right, he will 100% attempt it. Do I think he should attempt it? No. And not because I don't think he can do it. I 100% believe he can do it. But the risk to his health for such an attempt it's so dangerous. And the reason I say it is because, what was that? 9 years ago now, when he attempted the 505. When he attempted the 505, what happened in the beginning? Yeah, he attempted 505 and he went down, he blacked out, he had a brain bleed and had memory loss for like 2 or 3 weeks after it. Super, super dangerous stuff. Like, he essentially nearly died to do it the first time. And like, if you look at the likes of Thor and his attempts, he's never getting into these states. Obviously, he's getting super psyched up, of course. But he didn't have to go to the same levels as Eddie Hall psychologically to do these lifts and physically. Like, this isn't as hard to Thor physically as it is to Eddie. And that's because Thor is just a much bigger man. Like, his frame can just take more of a beating than Eddie. And he's, physically, like, he's back into strongman with a while. He's, he's well prepped for these sort of weights. Whereas Eddie would be going in pretty much cold turkey and just restarting from scratch. So there's a lot of risk. And like, the worry would be like, could there be like permanent injuries he gets out of that in his back? Or God forbid, any like brain damage. You know what I mean? It's a lot of risk. It's a lot of risk for, you know, I wouldn't say a little reward, obviously, because you probably get like 100 grand out of it or something, which would be class, obviously, but it's like you have to really weigh up the pros and cons here. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what Eddie does. Looking forward to seeing what Thor does. I believe he can do the 510. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Will he pull the 510? Will he ever go for more than that? And how long do you think the record will stay? So yeah, guys, that is pretty much it for today's video. If you like the video, leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment if you want. Not that you care. Yes, the channel is growing, guys. It's growing. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much everything for today. So we will see you all in the next one.